When someone first comes to us with their case, a lot of times it's going to be a post-judgment case. Post-judgment is a fancy way to say it's after the divorce, and that's all that means. And that post-judgment, they might come to us because the other party is not following the rules. They're not following what the court ordered them to do. So when they come to us, they may be owed alimony. They may be owed back child support. Maybe the other party's not complying with a time-sharing arrangement that was arranged on a parenting plan, which would then become an order of the court. Sometimes, after a divorce occurs, things change. Maybe you might have lost your job. Maybe your spouse might have lost your job. Maybe your spouse got a new job where they're making a heck of a lot more money, and you realize, you know what? I need to get part of that, or maybe my children need to get a part of that because they should reap the same benefits as if we were still together. That might be a reason to come and seek a modification of child support. So it's not always just because somebody's not following the rules or something like that. The change in circumstances is why you would come to seek us for a modification. I get this question often where somebody would call up and say, well, I just got this order against me saying that I have to pay this child support. What happens if I don't? And the answer is, you could be in contempt, you could possibly go to jail, you could face fines, you could be forced to pay attorney's fees for the other side. So the short answer is, follow the order. If you feel the order was entered in incorrectly, or you feel that some circumstances have changed, well then we need to do a different petition, maybe to modify that order or something like that. Another question that I get often when people ask me about, I'm gonna have to pay child support, that's not meant to be punitive or punish you in any way, shape, or form, even if the time sharing is 50-50. Again, child support is meant to put the children in the same financial position they would have been had you and your spouse, still been married. That's what the purpose of really child support is to give your children a benefit. It's not to punish you as the paying spouse or to reward the non-paying spouse. It's just to put the children in the best possible situation they could be in. If you attempt to try and handle something like a modification or enforcement on your own, you can do it, but if you make a mistake, it's permanent, and you could be facing serious fines or jail time. So it's always better to at least pick up the phone and call with an attorney, speak with an attorney. At the very least, I can give you a game plan and guide you in the right direction. Here at Yaffa Family Law Group, we only take family law cases. So this is something that we only do. We're not a sole practitioner that we kind of dabble in other areas. We only deal with family law. Because we only deal with family law, we've seen every aspect of it. We've seen modification, we've seen initial proceedings, we've seen everything. Our namesake and founder, Doreen Yaffa, has been doing this for several years. She has only ever practiced family law. I have practiced law in both Georgia and Florida, but everything I do here at Yaffa is only family law related. This is something that we have tons of experience on, and we can absolutely guide you through. We are a smaller firm. We've got 5 attorneys here at Yaffa Family Law Group, and some of the advantages of having that smaller firm is that we can give the client more personalized attention. And this again applies to even the high net worth case all the way down to that flat fee consulting case. There's no kind of fly by night legal forms type of thing. This is every person that calls up to Yaffa Family Law Group gets that individualized personal attention. There is a unique thing in the Yaffa Family Law Group that separates us from, let's say, a different law firm. We have an in-house CPA. We do all of our billing down to what's called the lowest biller. And that might seem like it's saying the lowest bidder, but it is not. In fact, we do that to stretch the client's dollar as much as possible. If there's something that I can delegate to my certified public accountant, I will. Because when it comes to divorce, there's oftentimes lots and lots of financial background that needs to be kind of dived into or dove into. And for a sole practitioner or a larger firm, oftentimes they don't have those resources available, where here at Yaffa Family Law Group, we do. During your initial consultation, one of the first questions I'm going to ask you is what is trying to be modified or what is being enforced? If you're the person that's trying to seek a modification or enforcement against the other spouse, I'm going to need to know how much money you make, how much money the other party makes, what was your jobs during the marriage, what are your jobs currently? Are you aware of anything that the other party might have gone through? Were they in a bad accident? Did they lose their job due to some kind of global pandemic or something something along those lines. If you're the party that's having something sought against you, I'm going to ask you the same questions, and you're likely going to have those same answers. So has some circumstance changed that the court's going to care about? And after I figure out what that is, I'm going to give you a game plan. And sometimes that game plan might just be pay the order. Or it's going to say, hey, we need to do a modification based on X, Y, and Z. But each one is going to be unique, and by the time you end that initial consultation, you'll have a game plan.